Hey guys, and welcome to Speed Day 2. This is going to be pretty similar to our lesson yesterday, except that today we're going to talk about average speed. So let's just remind ourselves about the speed triangle. Go ahead and draw that into your notes and label it, please. And then when you're done with that, go ahead and write the formulas. See if you can do this by looking at the triangle and from memory. All right, hopefully you wrote distance equals speed times time, time equals distance over speed, and speed equals distance over time. Okay, let's talk about average speed. When you're in a car and you're going to Denver or you're going anywhere, you are going to speed up and slow down. So if you were to know that you traveled a certain number of miles over a certain period of time, you could find your speed, but the speed that you find would be the average speed that you traveled, right? Because it's probably not too easy to find out, how you sped up and slowed down. You would need a lot more data to figure that out. So average speed is the average distance traveled per hour or other unit of time. You can find average speed, as in meters per minute, or somebody mentioned today in class miles per second. That would have to be something very, very fast, but this is the average. The average speed is the average distance traveled per hour or other unit of time. Okay, so let's do some problems. A bus traveled 220 kilometers in 4 hours. Find its average speed in kilometers per hour. And all that means is that when we find the speed, we're going to find the average speed that it went instead of like the different speeds that it may have, slowed up or slowed down and sped up and things like that. All right, so first thing you're going to do is you're going to label your word problem. So in this problem, our distance is 220 kilometers, our time is 4 hours, and our speed, we don't know. We're going to find it out. Okay, let's set this up. Since we're looking for speed, we're going to use our speed formula. So remember, we're going to write 3 lines of work. They're going to be vertical. We're going to write the equation first, and in this case, it's speed equals distance over time. Then we're going to fill in the variables. Speed equals 220 kilometers over 4 hours. And then we're going to solve. Speed equals 55 kilometers per hour. So if we divide 220 by 4, we get 55. All right, next one. Go ahead and try this on your own before you come back and look at the answer, but definitely start by labeling the problem. Okay. Mark walked 534 meters in 6 minutes. Find his average speed in meters per minute. So you should have written a D over 534 meters, a T over 6 minutes, and a speed, or an S equals question mark over either speed or meters per minute. So let's solve that with 3 lines of work. Our equation is going to be the speed equation again. Speed equals distance divided by time. Our numbers to plug in are speed equals 534 meters over 6 minutes. And there's our clue right here too. We've got meters per minute, right? That's going to be the label that we're going to label our speed in at the end. And if we divide that out, we're going to get 89 meters per minute. And we need to make sure that we write the label in there. In that it's a speed unit and not another unit. If you end up with a label like 89 meters or 89 minutes, that's going to be wrong. Those are not speed units. Okay, next one. So now we're going to find time instead of speed. A train traveled at 245 kilometers at an average speed of 70 kilometers per hour. What was the time taken? All right, let's start off by labeling the problem. And we'll put a D over 245 kilometers, an S over 70 kilometers per hour, and a T equals question mark over time taken. Make sure you have that in your notes. Remember that I'm going to do a random note check at the end of the week, and if I decide to call day 2, you're going to want to have those in there. And also they help you. Okay, All right, our equation, time equals distance over speed. So time equals 245 kilometers over 70 kilometers per hour. And when we divide that, we get time equals 3.5 hours. Okay, this is another time problem. It's a combination of a word problem and a diagram. You have to look to the diagram for some critical information. It says that a car traveled from point X to point Y at an average speed of 50 kilometers per hour. How long did the trip take? Okay, so let's start out by labeling our problem. Our speed obviously is going to be 50 kilometers per hour, and we're going to put a t equals question mark over how long did the trip take, excuse me. But where's our distance? If we're going to find out time, we need to have both speed and distance. We can't find out the answer to a time problem without the other two variables. In the same with all of the problems. We can't find out the answer to a distance problem without speed and time. We can't find out the answer to speed without time and distance. So where's our distance? Well, you have to look to the diagram. It's right here. It's 250 kilometers between X and Y. Okay, so that's what we're going to plug into our problem. All right, so writing our equation, time equals distance over speed. We'll fill in the variables. Time equals 250 kilometers over 50 kilometers per hour. And you, just by way of reminder, remember that if you keep your units to get there, then you can see which units to cross out. And in this problem, we can also cross out those zeros. And we are left with time equals 5 hours. Okay. You guys should go ahead and try this one on your own and then come back and check your work. All right, hopefully you started by labeling the problem. And if Keeley walked 720 meters from his house to the market, his average speed for the trip was 90 meters per minute. How long did it take him to walk from the house to the market? You should have put a D over the 720 meters, an S over the 90 meters per minute, and a T equals question mark over how long. And then we'll solve it. Since we're looking for a time, we've got the question mark by our time symbol, we're going to use the equation for time. Time equals distance over speed. Let's plug in our numbers. Time equals 720 meters over 90 meters per minute. I'll cross those guys out, and we'll cross these zeros out. And now we have 72 divided by 9 minutes. So our time is 8 minutes. All right, go ahead and try the last 3 on your own. You should be able to do all of these, and I'll scroll through the work in a couple seconds, but go ahead and pause the video and try all 3 of those. All right, number 6. I'm going to let you read the screen for the answers to these. These are similar problems to what we've already done, so I'm not going to talk through them for you. All right, and that is that. And your homework for this evening is workbook exercise 28.